Yardeners, it's Destry. Welcome back to my yard. Today I am doing a full backyard tour of my garden. I'm really excited to share all the wonderful things that are blooming here in the month of June, the end of June. You might even be some cameos by my two Aussie doodles because they're over here being crazy. Anyway, stick around, join me, and let's go check out what's blooming in the yard. All right, we're going to start here with the greenhouse area, and I'll be doing a full greenhouse tour in a different video, most likely. But that's kind of where we're going to start. And then here's my kind of potting up area. I store some of my pots and soil and things here. And then heading down, this is kind of the long, area of my fence. And I've got lots of really beautiful things blooming. Please forgive me if I forget the names of some of them, but we do have some cat's pajama nepeta, some Shasta daisies that are getting ready to bloom. Of course, my funky yard art along the way, some barking dogs. We've got some flowers coming up right here. They're really gorgeous. Here, let me zoom in on those. Those are, oh my gosh, pincushion flowers. And they came back from last year. Here we've got a calla lily that's coming up, more Shastas. And then this is kind of what I wanted to show you because in my last tour, I had just planted up these Vigo garden beds. And you can see how far they've come. So check this out. This is my cosmos. Now I'm definitely learning a lot, like the fact that cosmos are big and they kind of take over. They take over things like eucalyptus down here and things back here that are trying to grow. Some zinnias that are like, help me. We're a little drowned out. So I think the other reason I wanted to do this tour today is just because I'm probably going to be whacking some of this back today and making some arrangements, but I just kind of wanted to show you where it's at right now. These are they're called bells, cantabells. They are the campanula is the actual name for them. And you guys check out the gorgeous color of these. They are absolutely gorgeous. And the thing I love about them is their blooms go like all the way down the stalk. So again, I'll probably be harvesting some of those today. I have some salvia in this bed. Gosh, something else too that's getting ready to bloom, but definitely learning a lot about spacing. So you can see you can see an Aussie doodle. Oh, there he went. This is the snapdragons. Probably my favorite so far has been the snapdragons and the show that they've given me. I absolutely love this combination. I got it from Johnny Seed Company. I do have some zinnias blooming or just getting ready to bloom. Here's a little bud that's coming. And then these are those purse flowers. And I actually sowed a lot of seeds of these this year. And they're really cool. I would say they're not the best for like cut flowers, but they're a really pretty low growing flower that looks really beautiful in this bed with the oranges and yellows and the warm colors. And then the last bed, I've got some feverfew that, again, I'm learning that feverfew is huge and it kind of took over. This bed doesn't get quite as much sun, which I'm also learning might not be the best for these bulbs, but we'll see. Hopefully they'll still bloom. And then unfortunately it's crowded out a few other things that I have growing in here. And I'd have to look at the tags to tell you exactly what those are. The gladiolas are the bulbs I'm speaking of. And then, oh, the scabiosa, that's right. But look at the feverfew. I mean, it's gorgeous. It's a beautiful filler flower. Just gonna say that next year I may not plant quite so many of them. Anyway, really happy with the way the cut flower garden is going. Here's my new spinner. If you've seen one of my other videos, I talked about replacing that spinner, and I actually have a plan for my old spinner. I've got my tutor here, and my plan was to have some gourds growing up the tutor, but unfortunately, I don't think they're getting enough sun. So they are there, but my plan was to have them grow up the tutor and have the gourds hanging down, but they're a little stunted. I don't think there's quite enough sun. Up here, just to show you, that is a little house where some squirrels have made a home. It's a birdhouse my husband built. So we actually added a squirrel feeder, the funny little sign, and then I do have a little watering station down there for them. So here we've got dahlias coming up. The Shasta daisies are popping. My beautiful vine maple, which I planted when it was just a tiny baby, it's doing really good. But these dahlias, you can see, well, you can see some Aussie doodles there. Oh, apparently the Aussie doodles like to drink from the bird bath as well. This is Milo and Max. Here are some buds just getting ready to pop. So continuing on here, my lavender is about done. I need to trim some of the blooms back. Um, my peonies are done, but look at this area right here, you guys. I am loving this spot so much. So again, I've got some funky yard art. That's just my vibe because I am an artist. But look at the zinnias. They're beautiful. My Shasta daisies are popping. And then check out these dahlias. Look at these babies. Oof, I just love that. So I call this area my cat's garden because I have the cat little flag in the statuary, and also because my cat Midnight likes to hang out over here. These two hostas are several years old now, and unfortunately they're getting a little too much sun. We actually cut down a tree that was in this area that had a fungus, had sort of a disease. So you can see there's this stump. And so they're getting a lot more sun than they have in years past. And I'm noticing the leaves bleaching out a little bit, but they're still gorgeous and they're just doing so well. So this whole area is my cat's garden. Moving on to what I call the secret garden. So this is a giant butterfly bush here. And it's, I don't even know how many years old. It was here when we moved in. You can see I need to clip some of these back. But this is a real-time tour here. My blueberry bushes are popping. They are full of blueberries. Let me go this way. Hopefully you can kind of see they're just loaded. So my family and I are going to be enjoying those. And my husband and I, we planted those blueberry bushes when we very first moved in. So here we have some heuchera and some heucherella. I believe this is a proven winners. It's got gorgeous blooms right now. The purple color is absolutely stunning. And then this area gets quite a bit of shade. These plants back here are slightly invasive here in the Pacific Northwest. They're called a bear's paw, bear's paw, and they will have these really big flowers that bloom, and I'll have to show you those a little later. Here's a little foxglove that came back. And again, forgive me if I'm getting some of the names wrong, but I'm trying. This one is a fuchsia that I've got in the ground. And some Aussie doodles hanging out with me. This one, I cannot remember what I planted here. So that one's going to be a surprise. We'll see. And then we're kind of heading over towards, this area used to be where a chicken run, basically. We had a chicken coop back there at the back, and then this whole area was fenced in for the chickens. But unfortunately, the chickens are no longer with us. So this soil has been really fertile for this area. However, here's some more heucherellas and heucheras. I've got some columbine. I planted up, oh, sorry about my shadow. I planted up just a couple of videos ago some of these fuchsia, not fuchsia. Sorry, I got to look at the tag because I'm forgetting. Geraniums. I've got a fern. I've got a mint plant in a pot. And then check this coleus out. Oh, my shadow's horrible. Let me see. The color is stunning. So the coleus are liking it back here. And what else do we have? Just a few more, some more hostas. This one here is a Daphne, which smells really amazing when it blooms. More Shastas, a couple more ferns. Brunnera, which is blooming. It's a nice plant. And this area gets a lot of morning sun and then shade in the afternoon. So it's kind of a tricky spot. I'm definitely working it out. So figuring out what's gonna do well here. I do have this little volunteer climbing rose that I just put a little trellis there to see if it will bloom for me this year. I don't know much about it. It just kind of came up on its own. And then we've got some other just really pretty things back in here. So this is the, oh, help me out. Dusty Miller. Dusty Miller is back in here. And some, some heucheras, oh no, hellebores, sorry, hellebores, and that area. So that's kind of the end of that area. So now we get into sort of my garden beds. These are two of the garden beds. This area right here is all potatoes. And then I've got a raspberry bush here that's potted. These are some squash and tomatoes that are doing lovely. And then we have more garden beds over here. So these are beans and peas. And again, they're just popping. They're looking so healthy and amazing, and really happy with the harvest I'm going to be able to get from this area. Panning over to, this is our kind of utility shed, my raised bed for my herbs. And then over here is where I have my window box and my collection of topiaries. So if you haven't checked out my video about making topiaries, go ahead and give that, go ahead and look for that on my channel. It's a really fun video that shares how to do that. Circling back around, we've got the hose area and two beautiful rhododendrons, which I have kind of trimmed into, again, kind of a topiary form, although the bottoms are growing back up. And I've been reading a little bit more about rhodies, and actually, you know, they're so common here in Oregon, but or at least in this area, the Pacific Northwest, Willamette Valley, Oregon. But I've been reading that it's actually not as healthy to have them trimmed in the way that I trim them. So my plan is to kind of let them naturalize again and you know, fill in from the bottom. We've got the fountain, which I still need to get up and running this season. And then this area here is my Japanese maple little bed here. So this kind of spins around the corner. Again, forgive me for the ladder. We've got real things going on here in the yard. But I've got some really lovely things. I tucked a few more of the yeah, those flowers in there. The snapdragons, sorry. We've got another lily coming up here, and calla lily, and that one's, I think that one's purple. And then we've got a few more things coming back. This guy's got some buds on it, and I believe that is going to also bloom purple. So last year when I first kind of established this bed, I went with all, please forgive my disgusting bird bath, I need to clean that. But I went with all like pinks and purples. All right, I've got to show you guys this. So this is a carrot. It's 2 carrots that have gone to seed. So the seeds aren't quite developed yet, but let's just take a look at what 2 carrots looks like. Look at how enormous this is. I actually really think the blooms are cool. I think I might trim them and use them in some cut flower arrangements. But then I think I need to pull this because I don't want this many carrots seeding themselves in my very limited space for my garden beds. We've got zucchini and squash. We've got a Milo. We've got zucchinis and squash here. Pumpkins here. This is all pumpkins. Milo, hey, enough. And another bed of potatoes. I found that my family just ate a lot of potatoes that I grew. Back in the back, we've got a couple little strawberries in planters, but I found my family ate so many potatoes that I devoted 2 bigger garden beds to my potatoes this year. So hopefully I won't regret that. I think that they'll be nice to have. And then back here is, you know, kind of the back side of my greenhouse. And so you can kind of see the size here. I wish I could tell you the exact dimensions. I'll try to leave that in the comments, but it's a pretty big greenhouse. I'm very grateful to have that much room for my greenhouse. And it is built on composite decking, which my husband, my wonderful, fabulous husband, built this whole greenhouse and the structural bottom part of it as well. A couple more pretty things over here. I need to get that rose planted up. I've got this smoke bush, which is also trained in a topiary form, and it has a big weed in it, I just noticed. But I'm really excited to see if it's going to actually bloom this year. I love the color of it, and when it does bloom, it has this really cool, like smoky look, which is why they call it a smoke bush. Couple more just potted plants this way. Really impressed with elephant ear. I've never grown elephant ear until this year. So these ones were bulbs. And I have these 2, which are gorgeous. And then I have another one over here. Let's see if I can kind of close up on that one. But I kind of planted around it. And again, I think that I probably should have just left it by itself because it's just really stunning. I do have some salvia planted or blooming here. These are some that I grew from seed. So they're looking really amazing. So just a couple more like potted up plants in this area. But again, I'm really happy with how everything is looking. It's so much fun to be out here. The last area of our tour is this one little garden bed here that I planted up with a bunch of Supertunias, Supertunia Vista bubblegum, and Supertunia, I think it's Velvet Royale or Purple Royale, forgetting the name exactly. You can see I had a bunch of bulbs in here in the spring and they are done, so I need to clip those back. But anyway, and I have these fun solar lights that are kind of neat. And so those kind of dance around at nighttime. So that's my last little area here, as well as some bleeding hearts down here, which are still going for it. Okay, Yardners, that's it for my backyard tour for the end of June. Thank you so much for hanging out and watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a subscribe and a like. If you like watching my Aussie Doodle puppies go a little nuts and hear them barking, I apologize for that part. But you know what? This is real life. This is really this is really real. So anyway, thanks again for watching. And I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me in the comments. Let me know, what kind of plants do you like to grow in your yard? What kind of flowers or vegetables are you growing this year? I'd love to get feedback from you and hear more about your yards and your gardens. Anyway, thanks again for being here, and go ahead and get out in your yard today. It's a really fun place to be. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.